Well, good evening, viewers. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're tuning in from today. Welcome to the platform and welcome to the show. If you're a first-hand viewer on here tonight, we very welcome you here and we're excited to have every one of you who tune in here tonight. Today's topic of discussion is something that's really important. And I just want to point out at this stage that the topic that we're about to discuss, breast awareness, cancer, it's a very, very sensitive topic. And what we're discussing here today is for the purpose of awareness creation and information sharing. So if any of our viewers at the end of the show feel that they need medical advice, please do reach out to your doctor or an appropriate medical professional. So whatever we're discussing here today, like I said earlier, it's for the purpose of information sharing from a survivor of breast cancer. So, as most of you are aware, last month October was Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It's an annual campaign to raise awareness about the impact of breast cancer. Breast cancer is the most second common cancer in women after skin cancer. According to the World Health Organization report that was published in March 2021, 2.3 million women were diagnosed with breast cancer in 2020. And out of that, 685,000 deaths were recorded globally. That's a huge, huge, staggering figure. If you look at the Gambia, Gambia has one of the lowest breast cancer survival rates in Africa. Those under 50 years of age, about 71% of them are diagnosed with breast cancer. Some of the contributing factors to Gambia having the lowest survival rate in Africa, some of them are due to the fact that the late presentation, people going for screening very late or being aware of it very late. The system that we've got in the medical system that we've got in Gambia, the healthcare system, the resources that we have available at our disposal as well, the awareness as well. So when I talk about the awareness, the taboo around talking about cancer, or people not the lack of awareness as well, the misconception around the cause and the availability of treatments, like I mentioned earlier. Also socio-cultural factors. So it's something that's really, really serious. And of course, we all know that it's something that the World Health Organization is working with every country to see how best they can make facilities available to women. And not just women, breast cancer affects men as well. I know when we say breast cancer, most of the time it's associated with women, but it do affect men as well. So when you're told that you have breast cancer, it's natural to wonder what may have caused it. But no one knows the exact cause of breast cancer. Doctors often know why one woman develops breast cancer and why another doesn't. However, what we do know is that breast cancer is real. And research has suggested that 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer in their lifetime. I'll let that sink. So, in light of the awareness last month in October, on this platform tonight, I am joined this evening by a special guest who's a breast cancer survivor. Her name is Barrow Touray Saho. Barrow has come onto this platform tonight to share her experience with us, which to me, I find it very, very uplifting to have a Gambian woman who has survived breast cancer to be courageous enough to come onto this platform to talk about it, to create more awareness around the disease itself, for me, at the end of the show, if one woman from this show go and get herself screened, that's one life that we might be able to save just for having a 1 hour session discussing breast cancer. So without much ado, I want to welcome Barrow. Barrow, welcome to Bindu Online platform.
Thank you so much, Kaddy. Thank you for having me. And hello to your esteemed viewers.
Thank you. Thank you. Like I said, I am very inspired when I was told that you wanted to come to the platform to share your story and to create more awareness around breast cancer. I think that's really uplifting, and that's very, very courageous of you. So just for that bit, thank you so much. There are a lot of questions going through my head right now, but I just wanted to give you the time. So maybe like let our viewers know, just to explain, just let our viewers know, like just tell us a little bit about yourself. Let's know who Barrow is, about yourself, who you are. And I know you're a mom of three. You got 3 kids. So just a little bit more background about yourself before I go into we go into a conversation around other questions around breast cancer.
Yeah, like you say, I am a mom, and I am a normal Gambian housewife and a mom of 3 children. I also am a civil and structural engineering graduate.
Okay.
And I am also a retail manager. Thank
Great.
you. Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot. A mom, a wife, a working woman. Yeah, very good. That's a lot. So Barrow, can you if I have to take you back, can you just tell us a little bit, just a brief on when and how did you find out that you had breast cancer?
Yeah, I found out that I had breast cancer earlier this year. And I will firstly go into how I found out that I had breast cancer.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, because I am someone who normally suffers from non-cyclical breast pain. I will unpack that a little bit. That is, some women do have breast pain leading up to their menstrual cycle, and also breast pain outside of this period as well. So I am someone who used to suffer from that type of breast pain, even though it was outside of my menstrual period. So this made me look into it and have it checked out because of that pain. And unfortunately, I received the bad news through that. But then also, there's a silver lining in the pain, in the sense that it was because of the pain that made me further investigate what was going on.
Yeah.
If it was in the pain, I might still be going on with breast cancer without knowing it, that I was suffering from it. Because unfortunately, some women, sometimes, I'm not a medical expert, but according to what I have gathered so far, sometimes breast cancer takes up to 2 years to develop. So without, yes, the patient knowing that they are suffering from breast cancer. So thankfully, yeah, because of that pain, I found out that I had breast cancer.
And how did you have, so that pain, was it something that you had like most part of your life, or was
it? Yeah, the pain, I've been having the pain for a few years now.
okay?
I've been having the pain for a few years, and sometimes I would examine my breast. It made me conscious about my breast.
Yeah.
So sometimes I would examine my breast to check if there is any lump. Up until the time that I was diagnosed with breast cancer, they did not find any visible lump in my breast.
Oh
So
wow.
yes. So like you say, screening is also very, very important, because sometimes someone can have breast cancer
Yeah.
without a visible lump.
Yeah.
With doctors can check and examine you, they wouldn't find any lump or
Yeah.
a mass. So it is through the screening that can detect that whether you have breast cancer in some cases.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's absolutely right. For the fact that you had pain, a pain that you've had for a while, but then that pain made you curious to go and get screened and have a further look into it to reveal that it's breast cancer. I think that's, yeah, because a lot of the time breast cancer is associated with like check your breast, check for lumps,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So when I think a lot of time when people say, oh, someone had, oh, how did you find out? A lot of people are, oh, I found a lump. So a lot of time when women find a lump, they're like, oh my God, it's they link it to breast cancer straight away. But the fact that even from a normal breast pain, don't
Mm-hmm.
don't just leave it like that. Go get yourself, checked. Like in your
Mm-hmm.
case, what you did. So what was your first reaction? What was your reaction when you were told?
My first reaction was that of shock, that
Wow.
of fear that, oh, that is it, I'm going to die, because I
Oh.
didn't know much about breast cancer at the time. So I was so fearful and
Mm,
terrified of receiving the news that I had breast cancer. So yeah, that was such a difficult moment for me. But then Alhamdulillah, after sitting with the doctor and then they dissected the information for me, told me about, the early detection, and told me about the success rate in the treatment. I
mm,
remember also meeting one lady, one of one of the nurses who was attached to the consultant.
yeah.
And during the paperwork, she told me, oh, don't worry. Breast cancer now. She said, breast cancer now. She did that.
Is it? Oh my God, what does that
Yeah.
mean?
So that kind of made it so light for me, because,
Oh,
yeah, like you said, the misconception around it. And also
yeah,
because we are not widely educated about breast cancer.
yeah,
So,
definitely.
yes, though I must say that in the Gambia, there are people doing a great work with the sensitization efforts, with raising the awareness.
Mm,
So
yeah,
as soon as the lady did that, I said, okay, she is here working, and then
yeah,
she has seen so many cases.
yeah.
So hopefully, yeah, that kind of was a reassurance and uplifted my spirit that things will be fine.
Oh, that's really good.
But
So
it
that,
was initially, sorry.
no, carry on, carry on.
Yeah, it was initially scary.
Right, okay. But then
Yeah.
that lady, her reaction kind of like give you a bit of positive outlook.
Yeah, it gave me a
To
positive outlook, definitely. And also
mm,
in combination with also my husband,
yeah,
because he was all the time telling me that, let's be optimistic. This is something, it's just a diagnosis. It
mm,
doesn't mean that you're going to die.
mm,
He was having a positive outlook on it, as also going and investigating about, not only breast cancer, but
yeah,
diseases. And he became sort of a medical researcher. He was looking into so many things and the
yeah,
impact of bad food on our health and all
yeah,
of that. And also, I also was started looking and watching
yeah.
women who had gone through the breast cancer journey on YouTube. And
Okay.
also a man, like you said, men are
Yeah.
also affected by breast cancer, though in a small proportion compared to
Mm,
women. I
yeah.
watched those videos, immersed myself in those videos, and
Mm,
that really, really helped me. Yes, kept a positive mind. And also my friends, my family, the ones that
mm,
knew at the time, the
yeah.
support definitely was exceptional. Definitely, that carried me through that difficult stage of the journey.
Oh, that's really good. That's good. So I'm going back to the hospital again when you were told and that lady's reaction. Were you on your own? Did you go to hospital on your own or did you go with your husband?
I was with
Or
my husband. I was with
oh,
my
you
husband.
were with your husband at the time? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's really good. That's good.
Mm.
Um, so did you have to like change anything about your lifestyle? Like, for example, did you have to change your diet or
Yeah.
anything like that as soon as you would? Because I know you mentioned earlier your husband did quite a lot of research.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you did some research as well. So did you then was there anything in your lifestyle you then had to change or modify?
Yes, absolutely. And Alhamdulillah, also prior to receiving the diagnosis, as I age, I became conscious about, my health. And
Mm,
I was exercising regularly,
okay.
going for the healthier choices for the most part,
Yeah.
because I know that also, the family that I come from, also, we are big bone, if I may put it that way. Yeah. So I was conscious about my health prior to
Okay.
this.
Okay.
Alhamdulillah. And also,
Mm,
after receiving the diagnosis, I became more and more conscious about diet, about exercise, about, you know, everything related to health, basically. And during the summertime, we used to take these long walks with Kaddy and Sister Nyayo.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And Alhamdulillah, I'm still walking. I'm still walking. It's winter, but Alhamdulillah, I'm still walking, and I'm still conscious about what I eat, particularly sugar
Yeah.
and white rice. And
Right.
yeah, I have drastically cut down on those ones, Alhamdulillah, and red meat.
Right.
Mm.
We've just had a question come through from one of our viewers,
Mhm.
who wanted to ask you actually, if you don't mind sharing how old you are, because apparently the NHS refused to screen anyone who's under 50. The NHS seem to refuse to screen anyone under 50, even if there is breast cancer in the family. So if someone under 50, like if I wanted to go and get screened right now without any,
Mhm.
I just want to get screened. Apparently, the NHS refused to screen anyone who's under 50. So the viewers just asking like, how old are you, if you don't mind
No, I
sharing
don't
with
mind
you?
at all. I recently turned 43.
Oh, mashallah!
Yeah,
Wow, you
yeah.
don't look it at all anyway. So
Thank you.
you don't look it at all
Uh,
anyway. You don't look it at all. That's great. Thank you for that. Thank you.
That's great.
Thank you. So and saying earlier, oh, I think there's another question. Wow. Okay.
Mhm.
So one of our viewers wanted to know, was it
Mhm.
both breast, or was it just one
Yeah,
affected?
yeah, Alhamdulillah, it was only one.
Only
Though
one.
during the pain that I had cited that I was experiencing prior to the diagnosis,
Yeah.
that pain I was having it in both breasts. But upon investigation,
Yeah.
the mammogram was done on both breasts, and after the mammogram, the further test that was also carried out, which
Yeah.
was the ultrasound, was
Mm.
also done on both breasts, and I later had a biopsy on one breast after they suspected that that was the area that was affected. So it is one of the breasts, not both.
Not both. One.
Yeah, and based on what I have also come across recently
Mm.
through my research about breast cancer,
Yeah.
is that having breast cancer simultaneously on both breasts is rare.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. That's interesting. And thank you for pointing that out. Um. So being a mom of three, after when just trying to take you back again,
Mhm.
after when you were told about the diagnosis, leaving the hospital with your husband, how did you approach the conversation with your kids? Did you have the conversation with your kids, or because your mind would have been all over the place, scattered, even though you still had a positive outlook because of the way that woman reacted, remember? But
Yeah.
again, as a mom, like how did you have the conversation with your kids, or do they know, or they don't know?
No, I was compelled to reveal it to to the eldest one. She
How
was the
old is the
only one.
eldest?
Yeah, she was the only one who knew at the time, because prior to the surgery, I had to self isolate for 3 days
Yeah.
before the surgery, and living in the same house. Obviously, she would know that something is going on.
How old is
So
she?
she's 18 now.
Oh wow, yeah, definitely should know
Yeah,
something about.
yeah. So it was at that point that we called her, myself and my husband,
Yeah.
told her that everything is okay, everything is under control, this is what is happening, and there is help out there,
Yeah.
and yes, it's almost time to go for the surgery. So that was the time that she found out.
Right. How did she take it?
Yeah, I think because of the reassurance and because of how we approached it and trivialized it in her eyes, even though it is a serious issue. But
Yeah.
then, yeah, she did not. It was light. She took it lightly, and then after that, she went and did her own research and came and told me certain things about breast cancer as
Oh,
well.
good.
So yeah, I was like, oh, she did her own research.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
That's
So
that's good.
she did not just take our word for it, and the
Yeah.
reassurance and all of that. She went ahead and did her own research.
That's good. That's what you expect from an 18-year-old, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
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 Alhamdulillah.
Definitely. Oh, that's good. That's good. So,
Mm.
I think then, did you get the support that you were expecting from your family and friends at the time when you told them?
Oh yeah, definitely. The support was exceptional. With breast cancer, you need a pillar of support around you. And alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Like I
Mm,
have said earlier, the support is definitely, definitely great. My husband, yeah, he stood by me throughout the journey and made it so, so easy, because there are days that are, can be difficult, but then, with his positive outlook,
yeah.
the counseling, it turned into a coach, I think, as well. And also family and friends,
Yeah.
definitely, definitely. If I
Mm,
begin to give names, but there are some names that I cannot go without saying those. Lamin Touray and wife definitely were
very supportive.
extremely, extremely supportive. Yeah. And
Mm,
yeah, in a very, very conducive environment. Alhamdulillah. I'm grateful.
oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I know. Because like if we look at cancer in general, from a Gambian perspective, like even to talk about it, to open up about it, people that are currently experiencing it, or people that are survivors like yourself, to come forward to speak to their friends and family around it. A lot of people consider it as a taboo in our culture still to talk about it. Did you? I know, like you've told your family, your friends, everyone supported, but at the initial stage, did you feel that resistant not to tell anyone? Not like a resistant, but did you feel that you cannot tell anyone apart from like your husband who knew, of course, but like to tell any of your friends? Did you kind of like, were you a bit hesitant, or did you feel
Yeah.
like it's something that you can talk about, or did you feel like, oh no, I cannot talk about this, like I cannot share this because it's so personal and intimate to me? What did?
Yeah. Yeah. For the friends and the family, the main reason, and I apologize, the main reason why I did not tell some before is because of the pain and the misconceptions associated with breast cancer in our community. Breast
Yeah.
cancer is not widely understood for
Yeah.
what it may be, and is mostly equated to death.
Yeah.
So for that reason, you don't want to incite fear in anybody's mind.
Yeah.
And I know how difficult it was for me myself
Yeah.
and my husband to come to terms with the diagnosis.
Mm,
So giving that news to somebody
yeah.
can be a difficult thing to do. This is why I just remained silent and did not widely made mention of it until after the treatment that I received. And then to say that, Alhamdulillah, this was
Mm,
what was happening, but now everything is under control. And my mind still goes to people up until now that I did not tell. They only learned through my video. And I really, really, I very much apologize to them. It's not
mm,
they are being because I did not trust them
yeah.
or secrecy around that. It was just because it was overwhelming for me, and that I did not want to impose any
Mm,
fear in their minds.
yeah.
This is the reason, yeah. But the
And I'm,
support, alhamdulillah, was great.
yeah,
And
and I'm,
also, yeah.
go on.
No, go on, go on.
No, I was just gonna say, because
Yeah,
I know you're apologizing to anyone who's watching us right now, who's your
yeah.
friend, like your near and dearest, that you haven't told. They're only learning of the news now. Um, I know you're apologizing, but then you don't have to, because at the end of the day, like you said, it was overwhelming. You were trying to cope with it. You're trying to come to terms with what you've just learned about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be very overwhelming to share with other people. So I'm sure they will understand, Barrow.
Alhamdulillah. Hopefully. Yeah.
Yeah. And so how did you manage, how were you managing on a day? Because you did say earlier that it
Mm-hmm.
was some days were hard, some days were good. There were good and bad days like you
Mm-hmm.
expect. What does bad days look like and what does good days look like?
Yeah, sometimes bad days can look like, what if this didn't happen? What if, that what if thought lingering in my head, I would still be going on with my normal life.
Mm,
I would not be bothered about thinking about how cancer came and impacted my life and my family and my friends
mm,
and, and my loved ones. But then, alhamdulillah, before breast cancer, I was also very much into personal development and even made some videos and published them on social media.
mm,
So that personal development, along with my religion, all
mm,
very, very, very much helped me to be a coping mechanism for me.
yeah,
Because whenever those thoughts creep in,
yeah,
I toss it off with a positive one
yeah,
to neutralize that negative thought, because otherwise I just slip into a bottomless pit and I don't want to be in that situation. So this
yeah,
is why bad days, I think about positive days. Okay,
yeah,
this happened to me, but what did I learn from it?
yeah,
This happened to me, but how did it change my life in a positive way?
yeah,
Try to look at the positives rather than to delve into the negatives. And why me? And
mm,
also watching one woman also on TED Talk, that
yeah,
also synced with me and stayed with me up until now. She was talking about how she lost her son in a
mm,
in a sudden accident, and she was constantly asking herself, "Why me?" Along with
mm,
other questions that I cannot remember now on top of my head. But what helped her eventually moved on was, "Why not me?
yeah,
Why me? Why not me?"
yeah,
If, like you said, the statistics is staggering. 1 in 8 women suffer from breast cancer.
yeah,
So I just happen to be part of that statistics.
mm,
Mm,
mm.
yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I think it's human nature though. Like naturally, when something happens to us, we're like the first thing that you think about is why me.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas when you flip that, it's why not me? What about
Exactly.
all the people that it's happening to? Like,
Yeah.
what differentiates you from them? So,
Exactly.
yeah, I think as long as you flip, as soon as you can flip that to why not me, like in your
Mm-hmm.
case, you did, you're able to see the positive outlook and able to forge ahead with a really positive mindset, which is really good. And consider that's what you've done clearly, which is good. So, because I was gonna ask you how did you come to terms with it, but then it's like it sounded
Mm-hmm.
like from what you just said that
Mm-hmm.
you cope really well.
Alhamdulillah.
You did cope really well. What did
Al- al- yeah,
sorry, go.
alhamdulillah. I'm like, because I'm only human. Sometimes, like I said, these negative thoughts, they do come in, but then
Yeah,
it's about engaging and engaging with it, entertaining the thought,
yeah,
or deflecting it.
yeah,
So, like you say, in personal development, power of choice.
yeah,
Sometimes it's difficult to apply depending on where you are.
yeah,
It's maybe very, very difficult sometimes.
yeah,
So, but then if you remember that you have a certain degree of control about
yeah,
how you are thinking,
yeah,
so that can help to switch that thinking to something that is positive rather than negative. Because if I continue linger in that negative
mm,
thought, that can have another devastating consequence on my health.
Of
So,
course.
which is only going to worsen the situation rather than improve it.
Yeah. And that can eventually lead you to depression as well, which
Ex-
again, it wouldn't help with recovery.
exactly.
Yeah. How long did your treatment last?
The treatment lasted for, because I had a surgery in May
Okay.
and then started the radiotherapy in July. And so all in all, me about 3 months, just a little over 3 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is that because it's been caught at the early stage?
Yeah, alhamdulillah. That is because it was caught at the early stage.
Okay.
So yeah. So yeah, alhamdulillah.
I think we had a question that popped up earlier from another
Yeah.
video. They wanted to know how many treatment options were you offered?
Yeah, because of the that is a very, very, very good question, because cancer is different. Breast cancer, the types of breast cancer is
Yeah.
different. Okay, so one woman, like the breast cancer that I have may be different from the breast cancer that some another woman has, and
Yeah.
also the level that it is caught is also plays a part in the treatment option that you are being offered. For
Yeah.
me, I was only offered one treatment option because of the time that it was caught.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was seen to be the best pathway for my
Okay.
treatment. Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, that's a very valid question actually, because it depends on
Mm.
the type of breast cancer, and also it depends what stage it's caught at. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So how's recovery looking like for you at the moment, Barrow?
Yeah, alhamdulillah. Now I see myself as someone who has fully recovered from breast cancer. And yes, and just being positive about life and being optimistic about the future. And like I say, not to delve into the negative aspects. Uh, yeah, that is what recovery is looking like for me.
So
Being positive mindset.
yes,
Yeah.
definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
So do you still have you still got, like, are you still on medication or what?
Yeah, at the moment with breast cancer, you have to be on medication, after treatment. For
Okay.
myself, and I'm not sure whether this is in all cases, but with myself, yes, I am on medication at the moment. Post
For how long?
radiotherapy, yes, I am on medication
Okay, for how long? How long do you know
for
how long the
5 years. For 5 years,
oh, wow. Okay.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
does that include routine checkups as well? Still, are
Yeah,
you still
routine checkups is yearly, because with once you are diagnosed with breast cancer,
yeah,
then you are offered a yearly routine checkup, so that they can check up to find out, to see that everything is okay.
yeah.
And with the medication that I am on at the moment, it is to lower, the estrogen level in my body, and also to minimize the chance of recurrence. So yes, you are monitored. Alhamdulillah, that monitoring mechanism is there to check continuously that everything is fine.
Okay, that's good. And so the medications that you're on at the moment, do they have any impact on your daily activities right now in your
No,
life?
not at all. Not at all. It's just like taking any other medication. They don't impact in any way. No. Yeah.
Good, that's good. So I know, so going through the treatment, like realizing you had breast cancer, and going through all the emotional, going through the change curve, the in terms of denial, then almost coming to terms with it, then trying to research more on it, and then going on to having the surgery and the treatment, and now you're recovering, you're on medication for the next 5 years. What's your big take on this?
The big take on this is it's a journey, and it's a big life change in what I was accustomed to. And every phase of the journey is different. But my take on it is that I have passed the most difficult hurdle of it,
Yeah,
which was not knowing what was happening, to
yeah,
finding out what was happening, and
yeah,
alhamdulillah getting the treatment. So yes, that is my take on it. It's each phase is a transition of its own.
yeah.
Is something like something that you've never been through, a roller coaster of emotions.
Mm,
Yeah. So this is why the support network around is very, 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 very important. Alhamdulillah, because sometimes it can be really, really overwhelming. But
yeah.
in a nutshell, to answer your question, Alhamdulillah, I'm in that state now where I am moving on with my life.
Good. That's good. And how's your husband feeling about all this now? I know like he's been a rock to you. He's been like
Mhm.
from the one when you were diagnosed at the hospital. So how is he?
Yeah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. He is also keeping up a positive spirit about it.
Mm,
And yeah, we talk about it regularly. It has become a normal conversation, though not thinking about the difficult bit of it, but talking
yeah,
about, now, how can we use our story, what has happened,
yeah,
to what can we do with what really happened to us in order to make change, in order to raise awareness
mm,
about around breast cancer,
yeah,
because that those taboos that you say is unfortunately still hovering over us, even though breast cancer is a very, very serious issue. But
yeah,
because of the taboo, we don't talk about it much, and unfortunately, the knowledge around it is very scanty.
yeah. And especially like women, like, and I'm again going back to the using Gambian context because both of us we both from Gambia. So,
Mm.
in your view, why do you think like women, especially Gambian women, feel that they cannot talk about things like this? I know we always keep
Mm.
saying like it's our culture, it's our tradition, it's the way we live,
Mm-hmm.
but I always think that there may be more to it than that. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there are several factors at play here. From
Mm,
my observation, living in the community, I wish I could just brush this under the carpet and not make mention of it. But it
yeah,
is definitely a problem that we need to address if we want, to break away from this stigma, if we want to break away from this taboo of openly coming out and talking about breast cancer, like any other illness, like headache,
yeah,
for example,
exactly.
like a tummy ache, for example.
Yeah, yeah,
Because yeah, I think our attitudes needs to shift from currently where it is, to being open-minded about breast cancer, to being supportive about breast cancer, and
yeah,
seeing it for what it is. Breast
yeah,
cancer is a very, very serious illness, and if you
yeah,
don't talk about it, unfortunately, some lives are going to be lost because
yeah.
they may not know about what actions they can take
Mhm.
for them to protect themselves, for them to help themselves, and where to turn to for help.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Mm,
because we need to talk, we need to normalize talking about breast cancer. But like I say, that we need to start somewhere,
yeah,
and that somewhere is creating that conducive environment where people can talk about breast cancer comfortably.
yeah.
Because for me, in fact, some family members, some friends, they tell me, don't open up, don't say it, because what
Oh,
is left
really?
at the end of the day? Yeah, but then alhamdulillah, I don't blame them. They are looking out for me. They
Yeah,
are they
yeah,
are, they
yeah,
are doing it. They are doing it in my best interest. They are protecting me
yeah.
because
They
of
are.
because of the notion around
Yeah,
breast cancer.
yeah,
The perception around breast cancer.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, even before I come to talk about it, I have to clarify the reasons. No, be clear on them why I am coming out to talk
Yeah.
about it. So
Yeah.
it is only at that
Mhm.
point that myself and my family, friends made the decision to come out and speak out, because it is
Yeah.
something that is a taboo to talk about.
Yeah. It
It is.
is.
But then we have to create that environment where
Yeah.
people can be comfortable to talk about breast cancer.
Yeah.
And not only confined to breast cancer, issues like rape. These are
Yeah.
things that are
Women
threatening people's
issues.
lives.
Yeah.
But then we don't talk about them. We
No.
brush them under the carpet.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and for that reason, unfortunately, sometimes we pay the price for that.
Yeah. And you know what? And onto your earlier point, you're very right. We need to try and normalize these conversations. Normalize the conversations in our homes. Normalize the conversations,
Mhm.
in- in the marketplaces. Normalize the conversation in the farms, in the gardens where the woman goes. So normalize and even the men as well. Normalize the conversation like with your wives. Normalize,
Yeah, exactly.
normalize the conversation with your sisters. There's
Mhm.
nothing wrong with having a conversation like this. It's because there are a lot of women issues, like you said, are brushed under the carpet in the African society, where
Mhm.
as a woman you cannot talk about these things, because when you talk about it, it become almost frowned upon.
Mhm.
And like you've experienced it yourself, you just said it now, like some of your family and friends didn't want you coming out to tell your story, but then once you kind of like educate them as to why you need to come out and tell your story, it's almost like, oh, okay, now they've seen the bigger picture. Because I think what happens in people don't see the bigger picture. That's where the main problem is. Like they only looking out, okay, no, you cannot go and tell the whole world and his wife that this was this was happened to you, because if not, it can be seen as there'll be a stigma put on against you in society, and everyone will
Mhm.
start talking about it. And you know what it's like in our Gambian society, like where they're like, oh, everyone's talking about you, so if that's how they see, like, oh, everyone's going to talk, and for them that's almost like a negative. So yeah, it's quite important that we start normalizing conversations around this. We've got another question actually from another viewer.
Mhm.
um I think it's so the question is from, I think it's a worldwide phenomenon. Certain areas or cultures do not have access to the right information. Did you know what to look for or what to feel before being diagnosed? So,
Mhm.
so Barrow,
Yeah,
did you know? You got a
mhm.
question, yeah?
Yeah, Alhamdulillah, I had a vague knowledge of what to look for. I was looking for a lump, though I did not know what that lump would look or feel like, but I
Yeah,
was looking for a lump in my breast.
yeah.
And I knew that also screening also is going to help to detect.
Mm,
I I used to examine my breast, like I say, because of the pain that I was going through.
yeah.
So I was not lightly breast conscious, but I somehow had a little bit of awareness around
Right. Okay. So
it.
at least yeah, because you at least know what to look for. But although you didn't know what you're looking for, but
Mhm.
you knew where to
Ex-
start. Okay.
exactly.
What about when it comes to because I know you said you did research online. Did you had any kind of like any charity organization in your mind, or did you
Mhm.
what words did you start with when you kind of like did your research online? Did you just type in breast cancer and to see what websites would pop up? What
Mhm.
where you signpost, or did you
Mhm.
already know of like some, like say, charity or foundations that are working with women with breast cancers, or did you just went with a blind
No,
faith?
I just when I typed up, certain websites came up, including Cancer Research UK, Macmillan Support, Breast Cancer Now, Cancer Care. Those all those websites came up, but I did not pinpoint a particular website that I was looking for at the time.
Okay. So
Mhm.
did you find, which one did you find most useful, like having all the resources, all the information that you needed at the time
Mhm.
to help you with your journey? Like which one of those websites, because you did mention Macmillan's Cancer Research, so which
Mhm.
one, which one
I
of them were particularly more useful to what you were looking for?
Yeah, I believe they are all useful. That's mad. That's what I think. Though I did not gravitate to all of them. I mostly focused on cancer research and Macmillan. Yeah,
Okay.
these are my two go-to websites. Yeah, particularly cancer research UK.
Right. And did you
Yeah,
find most of the information there? Was it easy to
yeah,
find, easy to
yeah.
access?
Useful resources, information about breast cancer. Almost everything related to breast cancer is on that website. Yes.
And there are there other like people they've had other have they got other people's stories there? Like because people have different stories to their journeys, isn't it?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Have they like are there other experiences there like shared as a blog that someone can access to be able to did you come across those as well?
There might be that portion there, but I did not look particularly on the website for those stories or for those
Mhm.
blogs.
Okay.
Where I was looking for those information was mainly YouTube with the
Okay.
videos of the people, people talking about breast cancers, but
So
not through blog posts or the cancer research UK website. No, that was not the focus when I visited the website. It would be mainly finding out,
mm,
detection, survival,
yeah.
and yeah, those were the things that I was looking for in that website.
Um
Mhm.
so do you know so when you were diagnosed or even before that, did you know any breast cancer survivor?
uh Not that I know particularly.
Okay,
I
good
I
factor.
had
Okay.
I was once in the car with my husband and had this lady saying that she made mention of her name. She said that she's a breast cancer survivor, but
Okay.
then I don't know her, and it was through audio, not visual. Also, I knew somebody who unfortunately passed away from breast cancer, and
Oh,
shortly before I was diagnosed, in fact,
oh no.
and the time that I knew this person, and also she was seemingly healthy, and the
Oh,
time that she passed away was a very, very short period of time.
oh.
Unfortunately, yeah, yeah.
So what? So the person, when did the person pass away? Before you were diagnosed?
Before I was diagnosed, yeah, but shortly before I was diagnosed, I think it was within a space of about 2 months.
Wow. Okay. So when you were diagnosed, then did that remind you of?
Yeah, my mind always goes to that when I was diagnosed, because it is someone that I knew, and then the outcome unfortunately was sad, and
Yeah.
then sometimes my mind would go to that, and then yeah, but unfortunately she passed away.
Um,
It's again, I think this takes us to our previous point about prevention and early detection. So unfortunately, she might not have known that she had breast cancer.
yeah.
And then, yeah, by the time it surfaced, maybe it was too late at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Um, and going back to the stacks that I've just mentioned in the introduction earlier, the
Mhm.
in the Gambia, for example, for instance, young people under 50 years of age, um, are currently being diagnosed. Like 75% are diagnosed, 71, sorry, percent are diagnosed with breast cancer. What would be your advice to those people? So this is like women and men. So what's your advice? What would be your advice to them? What do they need to look out for? What do they need to do? Considering because Gambia is a country, again mentioned earlier, um, where the healthcare system isn't great, resources to to research or resources to access isn't great either. Again, the social cultural factors as well, they're all contributing factors. So what would you advise to someone out there without the resources like we have got over here? in the Western world, especially in the UK. Yeah, how can they get through those barriers?
Oh, that's a very, very, very difficult question to answer because those are areas that are outside of their control. So the resource, accessing the adequate resources that they need to get access to that urgent treatment, because with
Mm.
cancer, time is of the essence.
Yeah.
So if the resources are not in place that is going to take care of that, that is outside of their realm. Unfortunately, that is very, very difficult. So, but then the things that are within their control is that not uh, to try and actively seek help,
Yeah.
medical attention
Yeah.
outside of the country. I think that is the option that people are pursuing at this moment in time.
Yeah.
And maybe within the country as well, there may be, but I am not familiar with,
Yeah.
any resources that are at their disposal, whether it is in Gambia or it is
Mm.
in Senegal.
Yeah.
Also, Turkey is another spot now where people are, turning to for breast cancer treatment.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, all of this requires money. It requires resources.
It
It is
does.
very, very, very expensive. So
Yeah.
this is why that is a very, very difficult question to answer, unfortunately.
Do you think like making sure that they are, they are very, very aware of their breasts as well, that would help, making sure
Mm-hmm.
that like checking themselves regularly if anything
Yeah.
abnormal come to
Yeah.
surface, to make sure that they kind of like they try and get attention, as soon as possible. Do you think that would really help? Because you caught yours at a very early stage.
Mm-hmm. No,
Alhamdulillah, which
that
is really good.
sorry, I keep on interrupting. Sorry.
No, carry on, carry on.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, without a doubt, Makadi, definitely checking themselves once a month, not to overdo it as well, because you don't want to be in that situation where
Yeah.
you seeing this, oh, I'm afraid, I'm terrified, I might
Mm.
have cancer. You want to strike that right balance. That is the
Yeah.
advice that I have come across from a medical doctor, that to check once a month.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
there are ways also how to check and what to look for, but because I'm not a medical doctor, I don't want
Yeah.
to delve into
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would maybe perhaps in another sitting we might be lucky to have an expert within
Come
our
on.
midst who can advise us in those areas. But one thing in Gambia, somebody said it earlier on during the program, that screening is not available here for people under 50, but in Gambia
Mm.
you can have breast cancer screening.
Oh,
Uh,
really? Okay.
yes, at the private clinics, and yes, at a reasonable fee, you can
Okay.
have breast cancer screening. So that is available there. And also, recently I've heard that there is free screening at the main referral hospital. I'm not sure about the veracity of that information. I haven't verified that, but there is screening option in Gambia
Okay.
in addition to self-examination.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So self-examination, that's definitely key, because
Mhm.
I do say that to even like my girlfriends. It's definitely key, something that
Yeah.
we all need to do in this day and age. So
Mhm.
um and yeah, like we all know, like Gambia, how the resources are,
Mhm.
especially on the funds. But then if screening is available at a reasonable fee, hopefully that's something that they could explore as well. Um,
Yeah.
that's really good. That's a good point to shout out here, which is good, because
Mhm.
I know some of our audience would be happy to know that. Um,
Mhm.
great. Is there any other thing in terms of your journey, Barrow, that you feel like
Mhm.
you definitely want to share that we haven't touched on so far?
Mhm. Yeah, what I want to talk about is the support that I got from this community where I am in Leeds. Alhamdulillah, when I released that video, the support was huge, and the understanding why I
Yeah.
actually did it. So I feel very, very lucky that I live in a community where people have that
Mm.
exposure to understand, you
Yeah.
know, the reason behind what I did, even though there is still taboo around breast cancer. But
Yeah.
yes, it was the reception that I got about releasing, putting that video out there was very, very positive.
Oh, that's great. That's good. That's good. It's always good to have to know that you've got your community's support
Mm-hmm.
um around you, which is really good because it does help. Because and that's in the case of anything, whether it's breast cancer or even cancer, like when you're going through something like that. So it definitely would definitely help. And with any illness, really, you wanna it's good to know, to be in the know that your family, your friends, your community are rallying behind you and they're all very supportive. That's really good. I know I've lived in Leeds before, and I know there's a great Gambian community there. And I know they always rally behind
Mm-hmm.
Gambians to ensure that everyone's like fully supported and included.
Mm-hmm.
I think that inclusivity part of that community, it's great, and I'm glad to know that it's
Alhamdulillah.
still going on, and
Alhamdulillah, it
that
is.
they've been there. That they've been there for you, which is really good. So, Leeds community, Gambian Association, if you are on this platform tonight, we are saying thank you so much for the support that you've given to Barrow and her family so far. Thank you. Um, so before we wrap up, I just want to give you just a minute or two for you to any advice or any one last piece that you wanted to give out to our viewers tonight.
Okay, last word that I want to say is that we are, for the most part, taking active steps in bettering our lives, trying to get good education, graduate from university. We've all been seeing the graduation pictures on Facebook, on social media, including myself and my husband. Our graduation photos are posted on social media. What are we going to do with this knowledge? Because we find ourselves in a very, very fortunate and privileged position whereby we have acquired knowledge in large numbers to elevate our lives. But collectively, how are we working collaboratively in order to raise this awareness, in order to create this environment? Before I even go to the raising of the awareness, I think the focus first and foremost should be about creating that environment. And
Mm,
once we are able to go over that hump, then we can start talking about awareness. Yes, awareness is part and parcel of it. We uh, have to create that awareness around breast cancer. But
yeah,
what is stopping people? What is stopping
mm,
someone else, not just me, but
yeah,
someone else from coming out to say
yeah,
that this is what is happening? And so that that knowledge can be widespread amongst us. So, because our parents, our grandparents, alhamdulillah,
yeah,
they for they have not been affected by this issue. Not that I know of in the numbers that are affecting our generation. So
yeah,
it is our generation. The onus lies on us for us to do something about it,
mm,
for us to shatter those barriers, for us to
yeah,
create that environment, to normalize this conversation.
yeah,
What are we doing in
yeah,
addition to helping elevate our lives? We have come to the Western world. We're trying to adopt and integrate into our lives the positives that we have seen here. So one
yeah,
of the positives that we have seen here is about being ambassadors
yeah,
for whatever cause that you may be affected by, you find
yeah,
yourself. So in light of us
yeah,
going through this education,
yeah,
having, all of those nice certificates, having the
yeah,
great jobs,
yeah,
helping our families,
yeah,
but for the greater good of society,
yeah,
how are we using that knowledge that we
yeah,
have gained to empower our
yeah,
communities and break these barriers? Because it is us who have to do it by
yeah,
ourselves. No one is coming. Like one of my favorite personal development speakers would say, Mel Robbins, no one is coming for you.
You're on your own on the journey. Yeah.
Yes, you have to take your life in your own hands. So
Yeah.
no one is coming to save us.
Yeah.
We are going to be the
Absolutely.
saviors of ourselves.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, unfortunately, not everyone is going to have breast cancer, but sadly, some of us will have breast cancer.
Indeed.
So, what work are we doing so that
Yeah.
our life will not be likely threatened by
Yeah.
this illness?
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much, Barrow. That's a very peaceful, powerful conclusion there. What's stopping someone else, another survivor, or even someone who's currently going through breast cancer treatment to come onto this platform to share their story? You have done it. And I'm sure you'll agree with me, it's not hard. It's it's not hard at all to do it. And once you do it as well, you never know, you could save one or two lives out there and it will be worth it. And again, like you said, we have got all this knowledge among us. How are we making sure that we are elevating that, we are evolving that knowledge into something useful for us and for our society that we live in? Those are very, very powerful closing remarks. I wanted to thank you on behalf of Gunjur Online and this platform, to say thank you so much for finding the time, the courage, the effort to come here today to share your story for what would have been, I'm sure, a very difficult time in your life. Like you said, you were shocked when you found out. Of course, that's a natural reaction. And then, thank God, now you are on your journey to recovery. You have recovered, and we wish you all the best of luck.
Thank
Um,
you.
and you and your family as well, and your husband, who's been your rock. And I'm sure he'll continue to be your rock as well. Um,
Alhamdulillah.
yeah, so really, really thank you for coming to share your story. I hope anyone out there who got a similar story and want to share it, will find the courage as well, come onto this platform, because that's what this platform is all about. It's about creating awareness, information sharing. Because the more we share, the more we can reach other people and the more lives we can save. Just like you said, self-examining your breast, even if it's like once a month, but know your breast a bit more, know yourself a bit more. If there's anything that you come across and you're like, oh, hang on a sec, this wasn't there last month, try and seek medical advice straight away.
Exactly.
Don't leave it too late. Don't have a pain in your breast for like 2 weeks and like, oh, let me just take paracetamol. It will go away. Because I know we do that as Gambian, especially Black people. No, it may not go away. Just go get yourself test. I think sometimes we are scared to do that because of what we might be told. So that's why a lot of people will prolong it. But please, please do not prolong it. Go get yourself, if you are on this platform today and there's a medical something, or there's a pain that you've been struggling with, you kind of like brushing it under the carpet, please go and get yourself tested, go and get yourself seen, go and consult your GP, or go and consult an appropriate medical professional and get help. The sooner you do it, the better. Thank you so much, Barrow,
It's a pleasure.
and wish you all the best.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I also wanted to say to our viewers, we've come to an end of tonight's session. I hope you found it useful, and there are some key takeaways there. Self-examination. If you've got any pain or anything at all that you've been experiencing lately, and you are like, oh, I'm not gonna go see the doctor, I'll just take paracetamol or ibuprofen, I'll be fine. Please don't. Please get yourself to your GP, or get yourself to an appropriate medical professional to seek help. The earlier the better. Yeah, so if anyone wanted to come on this platform as well to share their story, whatever the story may be, we'd like to hear from you. because that's why we're here. And we like to have a chat. It's not hard at all. We like to have a conversation, like a normal conversation. So please, if you really wanted to share anything at all, get in contact, and yeah, we will surely have the discussion. So thank you so much. Thank you for spending your last hour, your 1 hour of your evening with us tonight. We really appreciate it. I want to say thank you to Lamin Jammeh as well, our host, and for Ibrahim Jane, the host of Dialogue with the Youth Show platform, for giving us this hour today to come and talk to Barrow, to share her story with us. So thank you. Good night, wherever you are. Stay safe. Until next time we meet again. Your host, Kaddy Jammeh. Bye-bye.